been watching the series on how to develop a small group strategy. We're talking about the side door, one of the best ways to get new visitors, new people to come to your church, which is through the side door, small group ministry, and hopefully to get them from there to your Sunday service. It's one of the most common ways people actually start attending your Sunday service and when they go out to a small group first. And today we're talking about idea number 6 on small group strategy. And this is something that might not apply to every church because some of your churches are small enough where the small group pastor or the pastor who's leading the small groups, they have only maybe like 4 or 5 people to oversee as leaders or 4 or 5 groups to oversee. So one person can actually do that. But even in a small church, I'm going to ask you some questions and you might not have answers for them, or you might not have very good answers for them. And today we're talking about evaluating your small groups. The question here is whether you're in a small church or a large church, and this does affect large churches more because sometimes you have like 200 groups and one person cannot oversee all 200 groups and know exactly what's going on. So the question is, how do you know if your groups are going well? How do you know if your small groups are healthy? How do you know if your small group leaders are healthy or are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing? How do you evaluate your groups? How do you know? It's a question that you should ask your small groups pastor or leader or whoever's in charge, especially in large churches, because there is no way that one person can know the health and the details of every single group. So this is what small group strategy is. You have to develop a system. You have to develop a strategy to make sure that your groups are healthy. And if they're not healthy, well, what is the strategy in place to catch that and to help them? How do you check or measure the health of your small groups? In my last video, I talked about doing like meetings 2 or 3 times a year with your small group leaders. That is an excellent place to kind of hand out a very easy, basic form. And it's not too much, it's not too detailed, but it gives you kind of a very good general oversight on how they're doing. Ask some basic questions. What is challenging? Do you feel like your group is going okay? How are you doing? Do you feel like you're worn out? Do you feel frustrated with something? Give them some very easy multiple choice, or maybe it's a scale. And the last question is I'm going to fill in the blank type of thing, or an open comment section for them to ask questions. But find out how they're doing. And what if you get all those forms back and you realize, oh my goodness, the majority of my small group leaders are frustrated? Well, you should know that. As the pastor, as a leader, you should know if they're frustrated, if they're not doing well, or if everything's going well. That's great. You should know that too. Like, why is everything going well? This is great. You should learn from those things. So some sort of evaluation, some sort of form to fill out for your leaders is good. It's actually really good to do for the small groups as well. So maybe once a year, twice a year, the small group leader has the whole group fill out a form. And the form is going to be a little bit different. It's asking them like, how are you doing with the Lord? Again, like multiple choice, a scale. Do you feel like the group is helping you in your relationship with Jesus? Or do you feel like the small group is addressing the topics that you're interested in? Or do you feel like our group is doing a good job at accountability and really sharing life with each other? Are you frustrated with anything? These are good questions to ask because, again, the leader might think, oh, our small group is great. We come together, we eat a meal, we do the study, and everyone comes out. We're always laughing and talking about shows and movies. But there might be people in your group that are not really enjoying the group. You should know that. So having some of these forms, I think something very basic would be a great idea to start implementing so that you actually know how healthy your groups are. The purpose just needs to be kind of where the group is at. You know, how are they feeling? This can really help point to stronger ideas on how to maybe change the dynamic of the group, maybe the meal time is like too long and people feel like there's not enough time to do the actual study. Well, you should shorten it then. Or maybe they feel like they're frustrated with certain things and in life, and now you know what to study next. So these are very helpful because it could help the group know what to do for the next study. Another really good reason why to do this is because it really gives the members in the small group an opportunity to raise their voice. Maybe they really want to share something, but guess what? A lot of people, they're uncomfortable doing that. A lot of people really don't want to share something that they're frustrated with or something that they want to ask about because it makes them stick out or they don't want the group to get mad at them. Most people don't know how to do that or don't want to do that. So let the group do this in an anonymous way, and it helps them raise their voice. Even for small group leaders, it helps them raise their voice to the small group pastor or to the leader about maybe certain things that they would love to see, something more of, something that they're frustrated with. It really helps you to understand the health of your small groups. So again, these are just ideas. Maybe you have a better way of doing it, please do that. But the point here is you need to know how your small groups are doing, especially in larger churches with like 100 groups. And what system, what things do you have in place that's going to check and evaluate your groups? So think of different ideas and how to do that. You need to know if your small groups are all doing poorly or if they're all doing great. And that's going to really help you with your vision, with your small group strategy, and how to maybe even start new groups, things like that. And it'll really help you understand how to continue to grow your small group ministry. Real quick, if you have different ideas of what I just shared, can you make a comment down below? Let's talk about it together. Share with other people who are watching this. Let's share our ideas. If you're in charge of small groups, do you know how well your groups are doing? Or do you just assume everything's going well because you know they're meeting? And I believe if you're the pastor or the leader in charge of small groups, it is your responsibility to know how well your leaders are doing, especially, and how well your small groups are doing. A lot of people just launch small groups and they just think like they're going to meet and they're going to figure it out themselves. I think that's a very lazy way of leading a small group ministry. It's a poor way of doing it. And so start engaging with your small group ministry and make it stronger. Make it better because, something is not working or something is missing. You should know that, get going with that idea, and develop a healthy small group ministry. We just did a whole series on developing a small group strategy. So if you missed those videos, check out those videos. I share a lot of different ideas, and please develop small group strategy. It's a really, really good ministry to get people into your church and of course to grow the current members that you have right now.